What's up, guys and gals? It's Griever back here, bringing you guys the latest chapter review for One Piece. One Piece chapter 1005 review. And did anybody expect this? Like, I'm gonna go check out all the reviewers and all the usuals. You know, I'm gonna check out King of Lightning. I'll check out Roger. I'll check out Tekking. I'll check out all the regular reviewers for sure, because I want to know what everybody else thought. Right now, there's been a hate boner for Sanji in the One Piece community right now because everybody thought he was going to go a certain direction. I brought this up in previous reviews and etc., etc. But in this chapter, and some people make fun of him for it, he goes, all right, he's not going to be defiant. He's not going to just keep saying stuff. He's going to say, now, I don't know if this is good or bad. That's the thing. Because it sort of gets Sanji out of the problem, so to speak, about not being able to fight women. And they even make a joke about that in the chapter where Brooke and Robin, of course, they show up, they save him, right? Because the chapter itself, that's what it was all about. And they save him, and he says, for some reason, I don't think I can win this fight. And they're like, yeah, we know. And even Nami goes, he must be fighting a woman. You know, a lot of people are still going to be irritated. Not that this turned out okay, and the direction Oda's trying to spin it to make it that Sanji, believes in Robin and in Robin's abilities to fend for herself, to fight for herself. She's got a devil fruit. She is a combatant. She's not, she's never been a part of the weak trio. She's not a part of the monster trio, which Sanji sort of is out of the picture now. We got Jinbei. But she was always there. She was always up there with Brooke and Frankie and, the other Straw Hats. So this is a nice thing in one respect, but I think that people's arguments are still going to be valid for when they were talking about, like, Sanji's inability here, especially going toe-to-toe with Yonko and stuff. Like, when we've seen this talked about before, we're not playing a game here. Zoro would be so irritated at this because it's the same thing about, way back in Water 7. It's like, do you think we're just playing at being pirates here? Do you think it's all just fun and laughs and everything will work out? This is serious business. When you disrespect the position of captain, when you disrespect the crew, when you are unfaithful, when you're not loyal, like, there are a few lines. Zoro lets people do what they want most of the time, but there are certain lines you don't cross. And right here, they're not playing a game. They're going up against the 4 emperors. Right now, 2 of the emperors in combat right now. The rooftop crew, the battle's raging up top. This is the fight for an entire country to save it from tyranny. And it goes beyond what happened in things like Alabasta and Dressrosa, because it's not only against a warlord this time, like Doflamingo or Crocodile. Yes, they're still saving a country, but this is going to shift the power balance of the entire world, what is going to happen here at this event. They don't really have time for Sanji and his nuances, and that was a lot of people's arguments when we got the other chapter. So I think that Oda wrote this in a way that it was a bit of a get out of jail free card, you know what I mean, on Sanji's side of things. I don't think it's not within his character to do so. It was sort of like, because he said, don't underestimate Nico Robin. And then when she was beating him up and Sanji's like, I can't attack women, he said, well, screw it. I'll do what she says. I'll call for Robin. Robin will show up. And I don't know if he was expecting with Brooke or not, but shows up with not just Robin, but Brooke shows up as well. Pretty sure Brooke and Robin can go toe-to-toe with one Topiropo. I'm pretty confident that this fight is going to go very well in Robin and Brooke's favor, considering Brooke actually managed to go toe-to-toe with Big Mom, for God's sakes. But, for reasons aside. But I think this is this is going to be a good matchup fight. We also see Jack again, which is weird. Jack's alive and kicking, I guess. That, the constant L dude is always going to be here with his mammoth boys and all that stuff. But just in all honesty, the thing to talk about here is not to review the chapter, okay? Because nothing really happens, like, other than what I'm talking about. Sanji calls for Robin to come save him. Robin and Brooke show up, and that's where we're at. Sanji's going to go find Kinemon and the rest of the group and try to help them out. We do see an awesome shot of Marco still fighting against King and everything like that. It's like Marco's the man, and that's pretty much it. We get to Yamato and Shinobu, and them doing their thing. We jump all around. We see Chopper trying to create an antidote. We see Frankie still in combat. We see Nami and Usopp still running away. We see all that stuff. But the thing to talk about is how's the fan base? How are people going to feel about the way Sanji handled this? Because I don't think that this takes away any validation from people's honestly, and I agree with the honest argument that right now it's not their time to be playing games. You know, there comes a point, right? There comes a point, just like the very popular Mandalorian. There comes a point where it borders on, yes, this is your creed, this is your code, but not at the expense of innocent lives, not at the expense of your friends, right? Not at the expense of your comrades. That you have to toe that line. And instead of Oda making this that big a deal, instead of making that this finally Sanji pushed to that limit to finally have to break that, they sort of gave him a jail at a jail free card, right? And I don't know if that was a great decision. It certainly suits Sanji's character, except for the whole crying out thing. Like, to me, it felt so out of character. It's not that it doesn't make sense. It's just that I don't think we've seen Sanji in this way before. It makes sense for his character, but at the same time, I'm off-put by the fact that he did it. It feels like something Usopp would do. You know? Like, it feels like something... It does not feel like something Sanji would ever do. And, I mean, Robin appreciates it because, once again, Robin is a combatant. She has a devil fruit. She has power. Between her and Brooke, they'll be able to take down Black Maria. I have full confidence in that. But I don't really know how to feel about this. I really don't. I feel like Oda basically sort of wrote... I don't know if Oda anticipated the amount of backlash he was going to get over the last chapter, over chapter 1004, with Sanji behaving in this way. I think people were very disappointed in him. And as I said before, using a comparison to like a creed, like in The Mandalorian and other things, there comes a point, you know, it's been a thing in a lot of fictions and stuff, like people who, in Naruto, the whole thing was those who run away from their mission are scum, but those who run away from their friends or don't help their friends are less than scum. You know, those who break the law are scum, but those who don't help their friends are worse than scum. I think that was Kakashi's thing. So it's sort of like, yeah, you should always obey your creed, the morals, the loyalty, the rules, but there is an exception to the rule. And even I would argue that Zeph would also bring about this exception, right? So I can still see where the Sanji haters, I guess, it's hard to call them that because I think there are certainly Sanji haters out there and they're making some of these same valid points, but I think there's a lot of unbiased people, or people who like both Zoro and Sanji, or don't dislike Sanji, he's not their favorite character, and they are also bringing up these points. So I hesitate to call them just the Sanji haters, because it's not just coming from haters. This is coming from valid points about Sanji as a character. And in all honesty, that's the big thing to take away from this chapter. Nothing really else significant happened. What did happen was, in my opinion, now that I've started talking about it, is a sort of an out-of-character and out-of-body experience for Sanji to get out of this very controversial issue that was brought up in chapter 1004. That's the way it feels. It honestly feels that way. And they're trying to spin it as though it's Sanji relying on Robin. Not saying that he doesn't feel that way, and not saying that Sanji doesn't rely on Robin and think that Robin's a badass. Of course he does. But the way it was handled, and the fact of the matter is that he's in this situation and still in the midst of a war, you know? Like, Sanji at this point, it used to be a gag. It used to be funny. But now they're in the big leagues. They do not have the luxury of this sort of idea anymore. Sanji does not have the luxury to do this anymore. Once again, it's like Zoro. He doesn't. See, Zoro's is much different. He prefers not to cut women. But it doesn't mean that he won't when push comes to shove. It means if I can avoid fighting you, I'd rather... It's just like somebody who would like to avoid fighting. I'd rather not fight you, and then, but if they're pushed, they're going to lay the smack down. The fists will be raised. Everybody's got a breaking point. This could have been a great breaking point for Sanji, and now it's been almost played off. But I don't know if that was the right decision on Oda's part. This chapter review became more of a discussion on what you think between chapter 1004 and 1005. What do you guys think about it? What do we all think about this? Because I know there's going to be differing opinions on this. Some people are going to say, okay, well, yeah, I didn't really agree with chapter 1004. The argument is still valid, but it's not like a main focus anymore. They sort of, as I said, they sort of lucked out. They chose a third option out of Sanji choosing not to fight, Sanji choosing to finally fight. They kind of squeezed into a gray area and said, we're going to do this so we don't have to deal with that issue sort of idea. And the problem is that's a bit of an avoidance tactic. They're avoiding the issue of Sanji not committed enough, in my opinion. Or not, like, once again, they don't have the luxury of Sanji being like this. They just don't, especially in the middle of a war with two goddamn emperors. So, yeah, they're playing it off for laughs. And they're trying to spin it, as I said, as a Robin, like I believe in Nico Robin. But underneath it all, I think Oda opened a can of worms that he did not intend to. I don't think he intended the backlash. I don't think he intended to open this issue up like it was going to be a fresh wound and salt just poured on it. That's what I think chapter 1005 has shown us. Is that because Oda avoided the issue of not fighting or fighting with Sanji, it was a black and white issue, and instead he decided to take the big thing of salt and throw the salt on the open wound and go, no, we're going to avoid that situation even now. And you could argue that he will bring it up later. In a later arc, Sanji could be in a similar situation and he's finally going to have to use his hands. He's finally going to have to hit a woman. I mean, these things are entirely possible. But if that was the case, then I would argue that doing this now, if he is saving that for some big moment of Sanji's where he has to fight, he doesn't have a choice, then I would argue putting him in this situation in Wano was a poor decision. I don't know. What do you guys think? Because honestly, as I said, everything else that happens in the chapter, Jack's back, Marco's still fighting King, Chopper's still doing his thing, Frankie's still fighting, Nami and Usopp's still fighting. Like, that's all it is. Everybody's still, Yamato and Shinobu, they're breaking out of the storage room, and everybody's still fighting. So what have you. But I think the big issue here is discussing whether the decision to bring up the issue in the first place that really made all this happen in the first place in chapter 1004, and then the secondary decision here in chapter 1005 to avoid answering the question. Can Sanji be pushed to the point that he will finally have to hit a woman? That he will have to fight, or his friends are going to die? The crew is going to die. He's got his crew's life in his one hand and his creed in the other. What is he going to choose? That was pretty much the issue that was presented in chapter 1004, and instead of answering that issue for the fans, for Sanji as a character, we put him in this situation. We got everybody's, panties in a bunch, everybody's knickers in a twist, and then we avoided the issue. We went left, right, nope, we're going backwards, or we're going up, like an option that didn't exist. And I don't know if that was a great decision. I'm still pondering it. I can be swayed either way because I see the argument from both sides. I don't disagree, once again, because I just keep rehashing what I was saying. I don't disagree with the fact that Sanji would trust in Robin. Robin is powerful. This is a way. But this is, once again, Sanji not having... This also leads into the argument that is valid from the other side that Sanji doesn't have enough loyalty or have enough balls or have enough backbone to make the decision. He's a coward. He won't choose between fighting for his friends and fighting for his creed. He doesn't have the willpower to make that conscious choice. Whatever, however you want to look at it, he's too cowardly. He's not man enough. He's not brave enough. He's not hardened enough. However you want to spin it, whatever adjective you want to use. It comes to the fact that he didn't want to make this choice yet. And I see why people don't like that Sanji didn't make that choice. Because it still holds that back. Sure, he could trust in Robin. But the only reason he had to call out for Robin in the first place was because he wasn't ready for this choice. And he should be. We're not going up against... I mean, even back in the day, going up against warlords and such, he should have been able to make this decision. And this is why Zoro took the pain from Kuma and not Sanji, because Zoro has made up his mind. He made up his mind long time ago in early arcs of One Piece. And Zoro has stayed true to that form thus far, even bowing before Mihawk. And Mihawk even says it, like, you would literally do this. Like, what about your honor? What about your pride? He goes, none of that matters. This is for my crew. This is for my captain. I would argue that Zoro is the most loyal and the most committed to the entire crew and the position of captain, being Luffy in this case, than any other member. I would make that argument, and this is why he is the first mate, like, just undisputed. Because we're seeing Sanji's weakness here. His indecision is going to cost lives. And that's what's really bothering the fan base. And I can see it. And I'm bothered by it. Because I like Sanji. I'm more of a Zoro fan, but I like Sanji. And right now, I don't like Sanji. So, let me know what you guys think, though. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this. I know I rehashed a lot of stuff, and this isn't exactly a chapter review, but as I said, it was just showing all the different fights that are going on. Nobody seems like Marco hasn't lost an eye or a limb or whatever. Frankie and Sasuke are still going at it. You know, the big thing here was it's going to be Brook and Robin versus Black Maria, and Sanji is freed and left Black Maria to go, find Kinemon and the rest and find out who the mysterious Toki, Hiyori, or Anaru is doing there. So, yeah, I think that this was a good time to bring this up. And depending on what everybody else is thinking, maybe I'll make a sequel video to this, reading responses or something like that, or discussing it in a bigger capacity, or maybe a more detailed capacity, a smaller, more condensed. Let's just stick to the facts here and see what everybody's been saying. But either way, I'm going to go check out everybody else's review, see what other people, if people even bring this up. Because I feel like this is not a topic for a review. This is a topic for another video. I feel like guys like King of Lightning and Tekking especially will make separate videos about this issue. Because it's the trending topic in the One Piece community right now. At least it was. And I feel like it still is. And with this chapter, it's not going away. It'll die down over the month, but people are still going to be really upset by this, especially Sanji fans and Sanji haters alike. So, but that being said, guys, I think that's it. It was basically a rant video about Sanji and how we perceive him and how we currently feel about Sanji. And did you disagree with my points? Let me know in the comment section down below. Did you agree with my points? Let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget we're getting to 500 subscribers. It's officially the month of March, and we sort of slowed down on the subscriber gain here. What's going on, guys? Come on, 500 subscribers in the month of March. You have 1 month. 1 month to get us there so that I can make you guys a video. The sooner you get me there, the sooner I can make the video announcing we're going to be doing a 500 milestone video. And then you guys, yes, you guys get to decide in that comment section of that video what you guys want to see for a 500 milestone video, right? In the first week of April. But if we don't reach that goal, you guys are taken completely out of the decision-making process, and that's not fun for anybody. So let's get ourselves to 500 subscribers. Let's go. All right, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, as I already said. Drink responsibly as always. This has been Griever. We'll see you guys back here next time. Peace out.